Welcome to another Coffee Break conversation, this time with Pierre-Benoit Herriot. Pierre-Benoit has been working with Coffee Break for many years, and if you're already listening to Coffee Break French, or indeed if you've been watching some Walk, Talk and Learn, then I'm sure you'll recognise Pierre-Benoit. Alors, bonjour monsieur.
Bonjour Marc, comment vas-tu?
Très bien, très bien. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler en anglais, d'accord?
D'accord, ouais. I'll try my best.
Okay, excellent. So, for the purposes of everyone involved in Coffee Break, tell us a little more about who you are.
Well, for those who don't know me, maybe who study Coffee Break Italian or Spanish, I'm Pierre-Benoit and I'm actually French, and it's a pleasure to see you here today because we are actually in my hometown of Sainte-Marie.
We're in your hometown having a coffee at your favourite bar, at your favourite coffee.
Yeah,
bar.
Because you've got what I call the Café de la Poste behind me, you've got the church, it's just it's really nice actually to have you here today, so it's fantastic.
Delighted to be here. Now, as you're speaking in English, we're detecting something of an accent there. Obviously, there's a little bit of a French accent in there, but there's also something else.
Well, yeah, because I moved to Scotland. I studied in Nantes, in the University of Nantes, studied English, Spanish, and French. And then once it was all done, I decided to move to Scotland. Okay. And I've been living in Scotland now for 30 years, I think.
30 years?
Yes. So
you've been longer in Scotland than you have in France.
But I still make sure that I do come back to my hometown, and you've got to visit family and friends, and it's normal.
Absolutely. So you're here in Sainte-Marie. Whereabouts is Sainte-Marie?
Sainte-Marie is in the Loire-Atlantique area, département, and we're talking about the west coast of France, just at the south of Brittany, and before we hit the Pays de Loire, although it's the start of Pays de Loire if you want. Okay. And so we're about four hours by car from Paris, and we're about, I would say, 4 hours from Bordeaux as well.
Bordeaux. Okay, so sort of right in the middle.
But on the coast.
On the coast. On the coast. It is a beautiful area, and I love this whole idea of village life, and we've got the Marché de Beaurecamp
behind us, the bric-à-brac, what do you call that? Yeah.
Closing up for the day. I really love French village life. I think I would quite enjoy living in a little village like this.
Well, you're welcome to come and visit anytime, Mark.
Okay, in this interview, we always try to ask questions about language learning. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little about your experience with languages. You mentioned that you studied English, French and Spanish at university.
Yes,
so tell us about that.
Well, we sort of studied, and I did all my studies in Nantes, and then when I decided to move to Scotland, I wanted to perfect my English. So I first started working as a language assistant in the school, in the secondary school. Yeah. I'm not going to mention them, but two lovely schools, and then decided to stay and continue with teaching basically. So did what you call the PGC in those days, and then got a job in Scotland, and now I'm teaching as a French and Spanish teacher.
So that's the day job, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you've also got you're interested in lots of things. We can talk about that a little later. But you've also you help us with a lot of the courses that we've been working on over the past few years.
I think from the start actually I've been contributing to, and I've been creating material for all the Coffee Break French seasons, 1 to 4, and obviously Walk, Talk and Learn French, and then the new season with Walk, Talk and Learn French as well. So it's been a pleasure to work with you. Obviously it's good because it keeps your language skills going, and it's totally different, but at the same time it does kind of contribute to what I do in the class as well. So it's quite nice to be able to do both.
In a sense, we love working with teachers who are teaching real learners all the time, because what they do on a daily basis and the feedback that they get from their own students means that they're tuned into the kind of difficulties that students may have, but also they're experiencing new reactions to things all the time. But we also hope that what we do with you and with the other teachers that we work with can actually transfer into the classroom too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about this. I mean, when pupils want to get extra listening, extra material, well, obviously I've got to say, well, why don't you try this and see if it works for you? And it does work. Yeah. And there's no doubt about this. And it's nice actually to have former pupils say, hey, I'm doing Coffee Break French, Coffee Break Spanish, and of course it's bound to happen.
Excellent. Over the past 12 years, I think that there have been many fun memories of your involvement in all things Coffee Break. There's one particular one I have to say. When we were coming back from a meal out after the language show in the London Underground, and Javanwa decided to try to convince the entire carriage in the London Underground, where people don't tend to look at each other or talk to each other, that they should all start learning French or Spanish or Italian with Coffee Break. That was
German.
Funny. All German indeed. But what about your favourite memories of Coffee Break?
I think I'm not getting any younger, so my memory fails me. I do believe I've really enjoyed the latest thing we've been doing, which is the second series of Walk, Talk and Learn French. Particularly when it comes to technology. There have been so many developments when it comes to technology, that I've got to really be careful, and I get a lot out of it. And then it's quite nice because then it means I can use that as well in the classroom, and I get a lot out of it. So it's been a pleasure working with you.
Keeping you on your toes, eh?
Well, yeah. I've got to, 'cause I'm so small, it keeps me taller.
Okay, another Coffee Break question. What would you say your ideal coffee break would be? Where would it be? And crucially, with whom?
Anywhere. With nice people.
Okay.
Preferably Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo.
Okay, so would you particularly be focusing in Spanish there? In that
Oh
case?
yeah, I would expect to perfect my Spanish with her, and obviously I would teach her lovely phrases in French.
Excellent, sounds good. Okay, do you have any language learning tips for our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Don't get discouraged. I still make mistakes in the three languages, even my own native one, and I do believe it's the idea of a little bit, but more often.
Yes, yeah, I
Okay.
certainly agree.
Yep, that works. That works for food. That works for but I think it's very important that do a little bit but keep going, keep going over it, and a little bit can go a long way. So that's very important to me.
Absolutely. Okay, we are got time for the quick fire round. Okay.
Yes. What's this?
So basically, we're going to ask you a number of questions, and you've got to come up with your first answer to these questions. Okay.
Whoa.
It's straightforward enough. Don't worry.
Okay.
So first of all, favorite language.
Oh, French.
Favorite word in that language, or phrase,
Pas de lézard.
which means.
No worries.
Yeah. Excellent.
No bother. Me bother.
Me bother indeed. Scottish version. Favorite food.
Plateau de fruits de mer avec un petit verre de muscadet quand même d'ici.
So that's a seafood platter
Yeah,
with a
sorry,
little glass
what
of
language
white
was I
wine.
talking?
A little glass
Was
of
I speaking?
muscadet wine. Okay, favorite film.
Wow, I used to be a film geek buff, and I do believe as good as it gets. For French films, Le Prénom and Le Vieux Fusil. Oh,
Okay.
I watched it the other day. There was a wee tear in my left eye.
Okay, favorite music.
That's very difficult because, as you know, I like music. I love music. I like playing a bit of piano, a bit of singing, a bit of guitar as well, playing the guitar. Favorite music. Just now, I've been listening to a lot of Jacques Brel.
Okay.
So you can explain who Jacques Brel is. Actually, our listeners should do a bit of research on Jacques Brel.
Bit of
Okay,
research,
and I will
yeah,
include
absolutely.
David Bowie. I'll be including a lot of artists.
Excellent. Favorite destination.
Anywhere with nice people. I'm happy anywhere I go. As long as people are nice and you can socialize and have a good time, I'm happy with that.
Sounds good.
Yes.
On va quand même parler un peu en français.
Si tu veux.
Dis-nous un petit peu, tu as dit que nous sommes à Sainte-Marie.
Ouais.
Alors, explique-nous un petit peu ce que c'est que Sainte-Marie.
Sainte-Marie, c'est en fait la ville où habite mon père, d'accord. Et donc, quand nous étions plus jeunes, nous avions une maison de vacances ici. Et puis, quand mon père a commencé à vieillir, il s'est dit, je voudrais en fait finir mes jours dans ma ville natale, parce que mon père est d'ici, moi je suis de Nantes, mais lui il est d'ici. Et donc, bien sûr, il a construit une belle propriété à 2-3 km d'ici. Et donc, bien sûr, je reviens tous les ans, une fois par an minimum, sinon 2 ou 3 fois, pour le voir lui et puis voir tous mes amis d'enfance.
Oui.
D'accord. Donc c'est pour ça, donc c'est important.
Et en fait, cette semaine, on a été ici, on a passé de très bons moments ici à Sainte-Marie, sur la plage.
Sur la plage, j'ai rencontré mes amis. Hier soir, je peux me permettre, tu nous as joué un petit morceau de piano, enfin pas juste, pas qu'un, hein, mais tu nous as fait quelques heures de piano. Et puis c'était très sympa. Et donc, non, je pense que c'est une ville, un village où il fait bon vivre. Donc c'est vraiment sympa, quoi, de revenir ici. Je ne me vois pas finir mes jours ici parce que j'ai quand même un certain attachement en ce qui concerne l'Écosse, bien sûr. Donc mais je me vois bien voyager, faire l'aller-retour, la navette, comme on dit, et puis passer 1 mois ou 2 mois ici, retourner en Écosse, et puis revenir 2 mois plus tard. Et puis aller en Espagne aussi, aller au ski. C'est vrai que mon problème, c'est qu'il n'y a pas assez d'heures dans une journée pour faire tout ce que j'aime faire.
Ouais, c'est le problème de tout le monde.
Moi, je crois que c'est ton problème aussi, je te connais, je crois qu'on se connaît bien.
Has hablado un poco de España también. ¿Te gusta España, no?
Me gusta España. Me falta un poco la práctica, ya que en Escocia no practico mucho y no hablo mucho, pero solía ir al sur de España mucho y solía ir a Estepona. Sí. ¿Conoces esa región de?
Nunca he estado en Estepona, pero sí en Marbella, en Málaga, en toda esta zona.
Sí, el acento es muy difícil.
Es muy difícil.
Es muy difícil, pero me gusta mucho. Hace mucho tiempo que no he regresado a Estepona, pero me gustaría. Bueno, es posible que yo pueda volverme de nuevo el año próximo, no sé. Aquí me gusta Ibiza también.
Muy bien. Hay que viajar, hay que viajar. Bon, alors, on va retourner à l'anglais. Do you have any final messages for our coffee break learners or indeed any final thoughts?
Well, I think I've already mentioned the point that don't get discouraged, okay? Just a little bit every day, keep learning and don't get kind of don't feel down, every time you make a mistake. We all make mistakes, okay? But let's go for the future. Let's hope that we can continue having fun creating new material for you guys, and hopefully, as you're going to be improving all your language skills, because I think it's very important. So, and the more Mark comes here as well, the more you improve your French as well, Mark. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, do my best.
Not that you need it.
Oh, quand même. Bon, merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Je t'en prie.
Et à la prochaine.
À la prochaine, et puis bien sûr, très bientôt, j'espère.
Don't forget, of course, that if you want more Coffee Break language videos, then you can, of course, subscribe to Coffee Break Languages here on YouTube. And if you hit the little bell icon, that, of course, means that you'll get notified whenever we post a new video. There will be more Coffee Break conversations with other members of the team and indeed other language learners, and they'll be coming up very soon. But for now, give it a like if you've enjoyed it. Send a message to Pierre Benoit in the comments. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much indeed for watching, et à la prochaine. Salut!
Au revoir tout le monde!